the forgotten 1,000 comfort women of the Philippines and their struggle for justice. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share with you an often overlooked chapter in Philippine history, one that carries both pain and resilience. We're talking about the forgotten 1,000 comfort women of the Philippines and their relentless struggle for justice. Get ready. This story is not just about sorrow. It's about strength, survival, and the quest for acknowledgement. During World War II, when the Japanese Imperial Army occupied the Philippines, thousands of women were forced into sexual slavery. They were euphemistically referred to as comfort women. The reality of their plight was anything but comforting. They faced unimaginable abuse, violence, and stigma, with many of their stories buried in the sands of time. In the Philippines alone, estimates suggest that around 1,000 women were directly affected by this atrocity. Some were taken from their homes, while others were lured by false promises of work. Almost 80 years later, their voices struggle to be heard amidst a complex web of shame, societal silence, and an urgent plea for justice. Many survivors have since passed away, but for those remaining, the fight continues. Over the years, various groups, both local and international, have rallied for these women's recognition. They seek official apologies, reparations, and educational programs to ensure their stories are never forgotten. It's astonishing to think that even after decades, the scars of war remain fresh, and the demand for justice resonates loudly among survivors and their families. I want to take a moment to share a few personal stories. Let's meet Maria, a survivor. When Maria was just 16, she was taken from her village and held captive. Despite the trauma she faced, she emerged as a fierce advocate for her rights. And there's Lita, who lost her siblings during the war, only to endure her own battle against the stigma surrounding her past. These women have transformed their pain into purpose, and their stories inspire us all to remember the importance of justice and healing. Now, let's discuss the role of the Philippine government. Over the years, there have been various endeavors to address the issues faced by comfort women. The government issued a resolution recognizing the needs of survivors. However, this has largely been seen as insufficient. Many women still face barriers in securing reparations and acknowledgement, as political complexities often blur the path to justice. The struggle for justice for comfort women is not just a tale of the past, it is ongoing. It beckons us to confront uncomfortable truths, embrace empathy, and most importantly, learn. We can keep their memories alive by sharing their stories, advocating for their rights, and educating future generations. The plight of the approximately 1,000 Filipino comfort women during World War II remains a poignant chapter in the history of the Philippines. These women were subjected to sexual slavery by the Japanese Imperial Army, and their struggle for recognition and justice continues to this day. Historical context: during the Japanese occupation of the Philippines from 1941 to 1945, many Filipino women were forcibly taken and made into comfort women, a euphemism for those coerced into sexual slavery. The comfort stations where these women were held were spread throughout the archipelago, including places like Manila, Iloilo, Cebu, and Leyte. Reports indicate that women as young as 12 were victimized, enduring horrific conditions and violence at the hands of soldiers. Survivor accounts. Survivors like Narcisa Claveria, now 92, recount their harrowing experiences. Claveria shared how she and her sister were taken to a converted garrison where they were forced to wash uniforms and serve meals during the day, only to be raped at night. Many survivors have suffered long-lasting psychological trauma, with some unable to cope with, their experiences leading to mental breakdowns. The stories emphasize not only physical abuse but also emotional devastation, highlighting a legacy of pain that lingers long after the war ended. Activism, and recognition. Despite their suffering, these women have largely been forgotten in historical narratives. Activists in the Philippines are now pushing for greater recognition of their plight. Organizations like Lila Pilipina have documented cases of comfort women and advocate for official apologies and reparations from Japan. Recent legislative efforts aim to include the stories of comfort women in school curricula and designate August 14 as a national day of remembrance. The Philippine government has expressed sensitivity towards the issue, but has faced criticism for not applying enough pressure on Japan for reparations. Activists argue that the close diplomatic ties between Japan and the Philippines hinder a more forceful stance on this matter. Current status. As of now, only a handful of survivors remain alive, with many having passed away due to old age or health complications related to their traumatic experiences. The survivors who are still living continue to seek justice and recognition for what they endured during the war. Their stories serve as a reminder of the brutal realities faced by countless women during wartime and highlight the ongoing struggle for acknowledgement and reparative justice in historical narratives. In summary, the story of the Filipino comfort women is not just a historical footnote, but a call for justice that resonates today. Their courage in sharing their experiences is crucial in ensuring that history remembers their suffering and advocates for their rightful place in it. If you found this video enlightening and want to be part of change, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's spread awareness and ignite a conversation about the forgotten voices of the comfort women. Together, we can ensure their fight for justice isn't lost.